President H.W. Bush Persian Gulf Speech Analysis. On September 11, 1990, President H.W. Bush addressed the nation on the issue of the Persian Gulf crisis. He made it clear that the situation was not a conflict between just the United States and Iraq, but between Iraq and the world. Bush looked for support from the people by indicating that the goals of the United States would be to initiate the removal of Iraqi from Kuwait, restore Kuwait's legitimate government, and ensure the safety of American citizens abroad. As an extra incentive, Bush mentioned that these goals were endorsed by the United Nations Security Council, indicating that other countries share the same ideas concerning this issue. In his speech, President George Bush was determined to gain support from the American citizens for his actions in the Middle East. Public support was vital, especially after a war like Vietnam, which faced heavy public opposition and was not at all supported. Numerous protests and riots took place regarding the many lives lost in a war that most Americans felt was unnecessary. To make sure that the Persian Gulf War would not become as opposed as the Vietnam War, President Bush was careful to mention the several reasons why it was necessary for the United States to interfere. He gave the citizens an image that it is America's duty to defend common vital interests, support the rule of law, and stand up to aggression without being intimidated. President Bush employed many tactics to show the importance of stopping the Iraqi invasion. He was especially able to make Americans realize that if Saddam Hussein succeeds, the American economy would worsen. Iraq, Kuwait, and the other neighboring countries such as Saudi Arabia contained much of the oil that America's economy depended on. He was, therefore, successfully able to gain support of the Americans because they realized that failure to stop the invasion could eventually affect their wallets. President Bush presented one of the goals of the United States as trying to remove the Iraqi troops from Kuwait. He stated that ships of the United States Navy are today patrolling the Mideast waters. With help from other nations as well, Bush proved that the United States was already attempting to go through with their plans in the Persian Gulf. Furthermore, he also spoke about the large amount of hostages held in Iraq, which included some American citizens. He explained that actions taken to resolve this issue in this quotation. The United Nations has demanded the release of all foreign nationals held hostage against their will and in contravention of the international law. This statement, which expressed his concern for the hostages and their families, caught attention of Americans and gained the support for this fight. The Persian Gulf speech made by President H.W. Bush was a call for the American people to come together and support the national cause to aid in restoring peace to a struggling nation. This was a significant speech because it depicted a world where such different nations could come together for a single cause. Bush's main goal was to arouse public support for sending troops to help the Kuwait army defend themselves from an Iraqi attack. As a consequence, the public support would encourage Congress to aid Bush in his quest for American prosperity, prestige, and protection abroad.